guys, and welcome back to my channel. So one of my goals for this year was to expand my reading genres and just kind of expand what I read, try out different genres, try out different books, that kind of thing. So I thought for today's video I would read some books from genres that I don't normally read from. So I would say I typically read contemporary romance, a little bit of literary fiction, a little bit of like mystery thriller, and then towards the end of last year I started to get into fantasies and read a lot of fantasies already in the month of January, but I want to expand into a few other genres. So for today's video I picked 3 different genres that I don't normally read from, and I'm going to pick a book from each genre and then read it and do like a little bit of a reading vlog, and we'll see how I feel about it, and maybe I'll find a new genre that I love. Yeah, who knows. So first genre that I want to get into is historical fiction. So I have read a few historical fiction books in the past. I read All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, I believe, and then Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. There might be a few others on my shelf as well, but I haven't read any in a while, and my mom actually has book of the month as well, and she had a few historical fiction books that she gave me when she finished reading. So I decided to read one of those. So if you watched my TBR jar video for February, you would have already seen, but I picked the book The Circus Train. It had to be a book that started with the title The, and I picked this one because I knew I wanted to do this video, so I felt like it would fit in. So this is The Circus Train by Amita, not sure if it's Peric or Perique. This is a historical fiction set in the time of World War II. There's like a circus. I'm not entirely sure what all it's about. I kind of want to go in not knowing too much because I want to be surprised. Another book genre that I don't typically read from is self-help books. And I actually had like 1 or 2 self-help books that I read like a long time ago, and they just aren't necessarily for me, but I feel like I haven't read any in a while, so maybe I just need to like try a new one. But I've had this book for a very long time and I have not read it. But it's by Tara Schuster, and it's called Buy Yourself the Fucking Lilies and Other Rituals to Fix Your Life. So I'm going to kind of pick this up in between books throughout the next couple of weeks and just see where it goes. I feel like with self-help books, it's kind of like something to pick up in between reading other books. I think this is also a self-help book written in the style of a memoir a little bit, where she kind of is like telling stories but also has some like pieces of advice and help, and as I'm flipping through it looks like there's like some areas that you can write in the book. So as I'm reading over the next little bit, I'm gonna like throw this in and maybe read like a chapter or 2 each day, or just kind of slowly get through this one as I'm reading other books. I will continue to keep you updated on this one as well as the other books that I'm reading. Hi guys, so it is 6:45 right now, and I just got home, did a workout, made some dinner, all that good stuff, and now I'm going to start reading for the night. I read a little bit during my lunch today of The Circus Train, but not very much. So I'm on page 18. I literally read like the prologue and then chapter 1. I'm gonna be honest, this is a little hard for me to get into just because I just read in a row the first 3 books of the Addicted series. So my mind is kind of like in that world right now. And I kind of want to like keep reading about that world, but I decided to take a break from it and not like read it straight through because I just didn't want to like slump myself out from that series by reading like all 10 books in a row or something. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna break them up a little bit. So I'm breaking it up, but I am like kind of missing that series. But I feel like this is gonna be good. I like the writing style so far. I'm just gonna try and get through a good portion of this tonight. I think my goal is to get to like maybe page 100. We'll see. It has been a couple days since I updated you on reading. I'm gonna be honest, haven't read that much over the past couple days. I don't know, I feel like I'm like low-key in a slump after reading some of the Addicted series because I literally just want to keep reading that, but like I want to take a break to like read other books too. So it's like hard because I'm like not forcing myself, but just like I keep thinking about the Addicted series. But I am getting a little bit more into The Circus Train, and it's actually starting to get really good. I will say it was pretty slow to start. but I'm now like a third of the way through and it's getting better. This is about Lena, and she had polio when she was younger, and so she has now lived her entire life in a wheelchair. She's like 9 or 10, I think, and her dad is like an illusionist, and she's basically grown up in the circus. Like her dad is in this like traveling circus, and she's grown up going around traveling with them, and she doesn't really have a lot of friends. A lot of the other kids in the circus don't want to be friends with her because she's in a wheelchair, and this is also during the late 30s in Europe, so like tensions are starting to build around World War II. And then one day this like orphan boy who is Jewish comes onto their like circus train because he's looking for food, and they end up kind of taking him in, and he becomes friends with Lena. His name is Alexander, and the two of them become like really close friends. And it's interesting the way it's written because there's like some big time jumps. Like they'll be like, okay, and then a few months has passed, or okay, like the summer has passed. So it's like the way the time is moving, at least at the beginning, is pretty quick. But now we're at the point where like World War II has actually started. They're still trying to do the circus, but unfortunately a lot of countries they are not able to go to, or they're having to do searches before they go into every country. So things are starting to build up a little bit more. I'm intrigued to see where this is going to go. And then for Buy Yourself Fucking Lilies, I haven't even opened it yet. I'm gonna be honest, I've not read a single bit out of this. I said I was gonna read this in between the other books that I'm reading for this video, and I have not picked this up yet. It is Saturday today though, and I don't have a lot planned for this afternoon. So I am gonna try and get some into this, read some more of The Circus Train. So last night I finished The Circus Train, and I actually ended up really enjoying it. I gave this 4 stars. It was not at all what I expected. I will say the beginning was a little slow, but then it got so good. And I guess I should have known this from like the front of the book. It does say a forbidden love. So I wasn't really sure like what that meant. There was a hint of romance in here, which I actually really enjoyed because obviously I typically read romance, one of my favorite genres to read. So it's really nice to have that little bit of it, but it's like mostly historical fiction. Very interesting. I loved the circus aspect. It was not something that I've ever read about, and I just thought it was a very interesting and intriguing book, and I really enjoyed it. If you are into historical fiction or want to try historical fiction, I feel like this is a good book because, well, yes, it does take place during like World War II, and there is mentions of World War II. It's not heavy focus on that, I would say. I feel like it's more focused on Lena and her journey and like living in the circus and kind of her coming of age of sorts. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this. I still have not gotten into Buy Yourself Fucking Lilies, but I'm going to start this today. It is Sunday. I'm going to grab brunch with my friends in a little bit, and I need to film a couple videos, but later this afternoon I'm definitely going to get into this. But yeah, I'm excited. So I will keep you guys updated on where this goes. I finally started reading this book. It is about like 6:30 or 6:45 on Sunday, and I'm now 36 pages in. It's interesting because I thought this was more self-help, which it is. It does have a lot of self-help, but it's also kind of written in a memoir style. So basically the author is kind of telling you about her life and how it didn't start out great. She didn't have a great childhood, and then how she kind of hit rock bottom at one point, and then how she turned her life around. And so she's kind of giving you advice on how she turned her life around while also telling you her life story. So it's interesting. Each chapter there's kind of like a goal or like a thing that she urges you to do. Like one chapter is about like journaling. The other one was like if you have some sort of like bad habit that you have taken up, like how to overcome that. So it's interesting. She is a comedy writer, I believe, or works at Comedy Central. So she is like funny and has like a humorous way of writing. Obviously with nonfiction, I am missing my like fiction stories and that sort of stuff, but it is interesting. I'm gonna continue reading tonight. The Grammys are on tonight, so I'm gonna watch that and just kind of have it on in the background as I read. But yeah, hopefully gonna get a good way into this. I did want to introduce the other book that I plan to read for this video. So I have been watching Grace Helbig and Mamrie Hart and Hannah Hart, the three of them, their videos, probably since I was like 12 years old, honestly. If you don't know them, they're YouTubers. They make like comedy videos and then also kind of lifestyle. Mamrie does a lot of like cooking and drink videos, like making cocktails and stuff. Grace and Mamrie now have a podcast that I have been religiously listening to since it started. I think it's been like 4 years since they started the podcast, maybe even 5. But Mamrie has 2 books. So her first book is more, I'm pretty sure, like cocktail recipes with little stories intermixed, but mostly like cocktail recipes. But this book is her memoir, and this has a lot of stories about her life. I have been wanting to read this book for a really long time, and I just love her. I think she is genuinely one of the funniest people ever. So I'm so excited to read this book. So this is the next book I'm going to read. I'm not sure if I'm going to wait until I finish Buy Yourself Fucking Lilies and then go into this, or if I'm going to read these at the same time. I'm not sure, we'll see, but I'll keep you updated. But yeah, I'm really excited to get into this book. Again, this one is more memoir. I don't think it's like self-helpy at all. I think it's like strictly memoir, which again, is not a genre that I typically read. So I'm excited to get into that and see how I feel about it. So a little update on Buy Yourself the Fucking Lilies. So I have a little less than 100 pages left, so I'm gonna try to finish it tonight. I'm enjoying it. I will say the fact that she has like her own personal stories weaved in throughout is really helping. I think if it was strictly self-help, I don't think that I would enjoy it as much. But the fact that you get a little bit of like personal stories about her and how she kind of puts these rituals and like pieces of advice she's giving and actually like uses them, I think is really helpful. I will say I feel like some of the advice or these rituals, as she calls them, are a little obvious. I don't know if that's like the best way to describe it, but I feel like in the self-help sphere, a lot of this stuff is like talked about a ton. So it almost feels like it's a little oversaturated. Like we've heard this stuff before. Like one of the rituals is like, you should journal every day. And another one is like practicing gratitude every day. And another one is like eating healthy actually makes you feel better. Or hey, did you know that you should exercise every day? And so it's like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of it is very basic self-help. I feel like there's not really anything that I'm like, wow, I never thought of that, or like anything that's really blowing my mind, if that makes sense. I wouldn't say that this is a genre that I'm going to go for often. This isn't something that I typically enjoy, and not that I'm not enjoying it, but I'm just like, I don't know. Self-help for me is not anything I'm really looking for. If there were like specific things that I was seeking out, then maybe I would seek out a book on like one specific topic, because the thing is too, is she gets very like surface level, but on a lot of different topics. And I feel like for me personally, maybe I would like pick one of these topics and be like, okay, I really want to learn a lot about this, and then pick a book that focuses just on that one topic. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not obsessed with it, but I'm gonna try and finish it tonight, and I'll let you guys know how it's going. Hi guys, so I realized I haven't really given you an update on where I'm at. So I ended up finishing Buy Yourself the Fucking Lilies, and I gave it 2.5 stars because not that it was a bad book, it just wasn't for me, you know? Like I just don't think self-help is a genre that I look for or am interested in. I mean, there were parts I didn't enjoy. I liked that there was a little bit of a storytelling aspect to it, but I don't know, it just wasn't for me. But now I've gotten into the final book for this video, and that is I've Got This Round by Mamrie Hart. I took the sleeve off because it's a hardcover, and I cannot stand having a sleeve on when I read a hardcover. I am loving this. So I think I mentioned, but I've been watching Mamrie's videos probably since I was like 13, and I just love her storytelling aspect is so funny. If you listen to her and Grace's podcast, like the way she tells a story is just so funny. After like the first 2 chapters, I realized that this book is actually on Spotify for like the audiobooks for Spotify Premium. So I've been listening to it and like kind of following along in my book, and I've been loving that because Mamrie voices the audiobook and it's just perfect because her voice and the way she tells the stories and her little like nuances is just, I love it so much. So that has been so much fun. Yesterday I got like halfway through the book. It's not a super big book. It's like less than 300 pages, but I got halfway through and it's been amazing. I love it so much. I'm gonna continue to listen to the audiobook and follow along today. I feel like I can finish it. I think I only have like less than 3 hours left on the audiobook. So I'll probably end up finishing it tonight and I'll update you guys like when I get home from work and everything. But yeah, I love it. I don't normally listen to audiobooks because I don't know, I'm not a huge audiobook person, but I think when it comes to a memoir, especially because they are telling the story of their life, it feels like you're listening to just like a podcast, which I love so much. So I have really been enjoying the audiobook on this one. So I'm editing this video and I realized I never ended it. I didn't give you guys my final review of Mamrie's book and didn't end the video. So we're doing that now. It's been about a week and a half maybe since I finished these books, but I ended up loving Mamrie's book. I gave it 4 stars. If you're going to read it, I highly recommend listening to the audiobook. I think it just made it so much more fun. It was honestly like listening to a podcast and I just loved hearing it in her voice. It was so good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I had a lot of fun with this video. If you have any other books from any of these genres that you think I should read, definitely let me know down below. Or if you have other genres that I haven't really checked out that you think I should read, let me know as well. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe down below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.